Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ruach HaKodash. Double honor to the apostles of Great Millstone. Honors to you brothers that are pushing the gospel of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, in all sincerity, diligence, and truth. And peace and grace and blessings be multiplied into the house of David, which is the elect. I just wanted to, go in on some quick news and prophecy, further exposing, revealing the wicked, that the Bible speaks of. And really, he's just coming out and revealing himself at this point, showing himself that he believes that he is the Most High, and that he has control over life and death, because ultimately Esau is a proud man, and as the scripture says, that he opposeth everything, he exalteth himself and opposeth everything that is called the Most High. And as we come into, these last days, a lot of people, are going to be even more deceived by the so-called pseudo miracles that Esau performs, through his technology, which has lifted him up. But as the scripture says, the soul that is lifted up is not upright in him. Because, see, Esau is really, he's trying to go beyond his measure. And that's why the Lord ultimately is going to stop him dead in his tracks. As the scripture says in the book of Job, when he is about to fill his belly, then shall the Lord strike him through. But a lot of people and a lot of our people are deceived by Esau's, his technology, which once again, the scriptures calls it miracles, because these are things that are not known to be done, on the earth. All right. And here we got this article coming from New York Post. It says, inside the lab that's keeping frozen bodies in heads of 200 people. OK, now here it is. You have Elon Musk with the brain, the brain CHIP, which he's tooting that he's going to be able to give paraplegics the ability to walk again. All right. People their eyesight back. OK. You had that one guy that had the CHIP and was able to tweet. All right. Even though he was paralyzed. And people are amazed at all these things. All right. They think that all these things are, this is going to be great for mankind. You're giving people the opportunity to experience life again, X, Y, and Z. So they're exalting Esau's technology, which in turns means that they're exalting him to a point of looking at him as a god. You see? And in return, they're willing to worship this devil. All right. They're willing to worship the beast. They're willing to bow the knee because of all the things that Esau is doing through his technology that is deceiving these people into thinking that he is a power. But when it's all said and done, man, Yahweh Shai is going to come back and show that there is only one God, and that's his father, Yahweh. All right. But this devil, as time progresses, he's coming out with more and more things that is showing his straight adversity and disrespect to the Most High and his order. So it says, and ultimately, these pseudo miracles that Esau does is just that. All right. They're false. All right. They're not anything on the level of an actual true God. OK, but as it says in Isaiah, Obadiah, the pride of his heart has deceived him. So now let's go into this article. It says a lab is holding the bodies and heads of 200 people in the hope that they can be brought to life in the future. All right. Now, when you read the scriptures, when a person dies, the Lord tells us that what are you supposed to do with that body? All right, you're supposed to put that body in the ground and let it decompose and go back to the earth. But here it is, this devil, once again, being everything that is opposing of the Most High, he says, no, we could hold these bodies, freeze them, and we can bring them back to life in the future with our advanced technology. Okay? So when we say that this is the devil that the Bible speaks of, that this is the deceiver, all right, that this is the adversary, all right, the seed of Satan, he is showing himself to be that, man, through his actions. So it says the Alcor Life Extension Foundation, Life Extension Foundation. Who extends life? All right. Hey, the Lord told Hezekiah, he was going to give him 15. He gave him 15 years more to live, just by the word, man. All right. It says that what? Yahweh said that I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. I, the Lord, do all these things. But here this devil comes in his age, all right, saying that no, I can do all those things also. You don't gotta worship. You don't gotta believe in the higher power. You don't gotta believe in the creator. Believe in me. Okay, I can do everything that the creator says he does. Okay, and a lot of people, and what does that cause? That cause a lot of people to not believe in that he is. All right, talking about Yahweh. But what is that in turn going to do? That's going to bring the fury and the wrath of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, on this earth and upon the ones who did not believe in the Lord and did not fear the Lord. All right, so it says the Alcor Life and Extension Foundation offers the hope that science and technology will advance to the stage where the deceased can be brought back to life. Now, as we always bring out, as the scripture says, what? Let me just get it, let the scripture speak. Science falsely, let's type that in. I believe it's in 1 Timothy, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 20, it says, O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane, all right, which means unholy or outside the temple, and vain babblings, all right, and oppositions of science falsely so called. You see? And there's also another scripture in 2 Thessalonians, which talks about the lying wonders. 2 Thessalonians 2. Right? It says 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse start at 9. It says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. All right. And who is the even him? That's talking about in verse 8, that wicked that is being revealed. All right. And how is that wicked being revealed? By the word of his mouth, which are who? The prophets. Because for a time, people was unaware that Esau was the wicked. OK, and even our people, when Esau came over, even though they was doing all the killing and slaughtering, but when Esau came over to the Americas, claiming that he found it, although you already had the northern tribes here, you had the northern tribes embrace Esau as an angel. OK, but then what did he do? He slaughtered them, man. OK, raped them, raped their women, took their land, took their possessions, their gold, their silver. OK, discontinued them from their heritage. All right, made them worship their image of what they call Jesus, their God. OK, because that was a time period of a falling away, which speaks about that in this chapter. But however, in the end, we were going to remember ourselves. And then also in the end, that wicked was going to be revealed. So verse 9, it says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. And when you go into that word working, it's energy, energia, with all power and signs and lying wonders. So on the left-hand side, Esau has power pursuant to Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And with that power, he does things, signs, and lying wonders. When you go into the word lying wonders, it's pseudo, all right? False. Lying meaning pseudo, fake, deceiving, conscience, and intentional falsehoods. And that's what his science is all about. Esau knows exactly what he's doing. Hey, we always go into it. The word pharmacy goes back to the word pharmakia, all right? So, which means witchcraft, and I have that pulled up. I'm going to pull it up. But it says, in a broad sense, whatever is not what it seems to be, cunning deceits, trickery, a falsehood, perverse. You see? But in the end, that devil, that wicked was going to be revealed. So his lying wonders, his fake wonders, his deceitful, and you go into the word wonders, basically meaning like miracles, right? A miracle performed by one. And what is that? Through his science and his technology, which they're toting and deceiving the world into thinking that these things are great works. So it says, Alcor will freeze a whole body for around $200,000, right? And that's what Esau, because that's his God, right? His God is money. Okay, going back to Esau's first son, Eliphaz, or Eliphaz, which means my God is gold. Eliphaz. So he charges, people for these things that he will never even really be able to do. It says, or just the head and brain for 80,000 in a process known as cryonics. The company is located in Scottsdale, Arizona, and that's why America, Babylon the Great, is going to be completely destroyed, man, and the works thereof, pursuant to 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, because the works that are being done in Babylon, outside of the works of the prophets and the believers, are all evil and vain, man. This place, Babylon the Great, America, is so defiled that the Lord said it has to be utterly destroyed. There is no healing this place. There is no cleansing this place. Okay? And a part of those works is the science and the technology that Esau uses to deceive the people and exalt himself as being a god. So it says, where the bodies will be stored at deep freeze temperatures for decades or even centuries. And they think that that their houses shall continue forever. It says it was founded by Linda and Fred Chamberlain. And I went and looked into who those two people were. And of course, they were Edomites. And I wouldn't be surprised if, they weren't, well, Fred, if he wasn't a small hat, man. But nonetheless, he's an Edomite. He comes from the house, the seed of Esau, which is why the Lord said that the none shall be remaining in the house of Esau. Because, see, you have the people that are the elites, which really are the ones who are controlling and give the operations and the ability for people to do these things. But all of Esau's seed is perverse, man. So even if the Lord even if the elites got taken out of the way, you still are going to have that wicked seed on the earth. And there will be another Edomite that will come up and have these perverse and vain, and these blasphemous ideas that they would go about in deceiving the nations into believing are righteous and good things. That's why the whole seed line of Esau has to be taken out the way. And let's get that. This is the book of Job, chapter 18, verse 18. It says, actually start at Salakia, start at 15. It says, it shall dwell in his tabernacle because it is none of his, right? Because ultimately the earth is given into the hand of Esau, but none of this belongs to Esau. All right. The earth was created for our sakes, pursuant to 2nd Esdras, the 6th chapter, around the 54th verse. All right, the earth was made for the Israelites. All right, it says brimstone shall be scattered upon his habitation. And that's speaking about what? That fire from that second death, the nuclear missiles and the fire from Yahweh Shai in his habitation is mainly speaking about Babylon the Great. But other parts of the earth, okay, is going to be on fire as well, but it won't be utterly destroyed. All right. It says his roots shall be dried up beneath, and above his branch shall be cut off. His remembrance shall perish from the earth, and he shall have no name in the street. And how do you perish somebody's remembrance and name from off the earth? By cutting off their seed line. So after Esau serves his double captivity in the kingdom of heaven, there's not going to be any more remaining of the house of Esau. Why is that? Because Esau is designed, as the scripture says, he is the vessel, okay, of wrath fitted to destruction, the son of perdition. And you can clearly see by his works that he fits that description, man. But yet, once again, because he is the deceiver, many people are fooled into thinking that the works of Esau are light. The works of Esau are good. And that's why they're going to worship the beast in his image and receive that charagma, thinking that they're doing something that is beneficial, but ultimately that's going to lead to your destruction. Verse 18, it says, he shall be driven from light to darkness and chased out of the world. There will be no more. All right. No more of your works. All right. No more of your philosophies, your wine. OK, which is your ideologies. All right. No more of your image. Is going to be out, man. And righteousness is going to dwell on the earth. It says he shall have neither son nor nephew among his people, nor any remaining in his dwelling. And that right there signifies that no Edomite is going to remain, man. You're not going to have children after your captivity in the kingdom of heaven. OK, after that 1,000 years of you serving underneath rigorously and unmercifully underneath the Israelites, man. It says they that come after him shall be astonished at his day, as they that went before were afraid. Surely such are the dwellings of the wicked, and this is the place of him that knoweth not God. And Esau believes in his mind that he is God. He doesn't fear God. He doesn't acknowledge the Most High. All right. As the scripture says, a fool sayeth in his heart that there is no God. All right. So it says at the time, all right, this is going into their history. It says our goal is to start an organization that could save people's lives and give them an opportunity to be restored to health and function. Linda Chamberlain told CNET. So they come with these words that sound like, oh, they're trying to do things that are beneficial. They're trying to do things that, are good. But really, what are they doing? They're trying to play the role of God, because let's go back to the scripture. What did the Most High, what did Solomon say here in Ecclesiastes 8, verse 8? It says, there is no man that has power over the spirit to retain the spirit. And you see, and that's supposed to show you that Esau is not a spiritual man. Esau is carnal, because he thinks that, oh, I can just freeze a body and we could bring it back to life through our technology. Not understanding that what? The spirit quickeneth, man. The flesh profiteth nothing. That's what Yahweh Shai said. All right. It is your spirit. And when the Lord, Adam, when in order for a spirit, a body to have life, it has to have the spirit in it. The spirit is the engine of the body. OK, the flesh isn't what gives the body life. It's the spirit. And no man had the power to retain. Salaki, let me read that again. It says, and there is no man that have power over the spirit to retain the spirit. Neither hath he power in the day of death. So when it's time, when the Lord says it's time for your spirit to be taken back, and for your spirit to be separated from your body, which is that is what death is, Ain't nobody can do anything to stop that, man. So you freezing a body thinking that your science and advanced technology will be able to bring it back to life. You are out of your damn mind, man. But once again, because people have fallen so far from, and I'm speaking about our people, fallen so far from the acknowledgement of the Most High, let me get that. They are deceived by the works of the wicked. Okay, they worship the creature more than the creator, and that is going to ultimately reach its heightened point once Esau comes out with that charagma, man. Because that charagma, he's going to portray it as something that is another miracle. You'll be able to, if you're paralyzed, you'll be able to walk again. People that have dementia, they'll be able to remember things again. Okay, the buying and selling, all that, man. Right, and you already got people now that has the mind of those brain charagmas are actually a good thing. All right. They also say that you'll be able to download information instantly. So you'll be extremely smart. Everything that's on Google, you'll just be able to have in your mind. All right. You'll be able to learn, download different languages. So the ones who have taken hold of Esau and worship his image, right, his ideologies, trust in his image, they're looking at it like, oh, I can't wait till that comes out. I'm definitely going to do that. Because they're so separated and they worship the creature. Let's get that. Romans chapter 1, verse, where is it? Romans chapter 1. I'm going to start at 21. It says, because that when they knew the new power, and who this is talking about, it's talking about the Israelites. All right. We knew Yahweh. OK, we were known of Yahweh. They glorified him not as the Most High, neither were thankful. Started worshiping devils, sacrificing unto devils, worshiping idols. And then all the way up until this point now, they don't even believe that there is a power. OK, Esau's done a number on Jake to the point where they don't even believe that the Most High exists. And they look at and therefore they look at Esau and what he does with his technology on the left hand side as a god, as godlike abilities. So it says, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. Yeah. Oh man, the technology, you gotta get in on the technology. This is beneficial. This is great. This is something that is going to progress humanity. Thinking that, this is a wise, professing themselves to be wise. And then in that, when people speak against it, they look at us as fools. When we say that these things are evil, that these things are not good. All right. When these things are wicked, they say that we're the fools, but they professing themselves to be wise, they become the fools. It says, and change the, let me just jump to the point. Here we go. It says, verse 25, it says, who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie. All right. The truth of the Most High into a lie. The Most High, he kills, he makes alive, he wounds, he heals. All right. He does good and evil. The Lord does all these things. They say that that's not true. All right. The creation of life, Genesis 1:1. No, they say that that's not true. There was a Big Bang, evolution. And who came out with those theories? None other than the devil himself, the wicked himself. So they take hold of his side, and then that's why they're going to receive that damnation. It says, and worshiped and served the creature more than the creator. And that, once again, is going to be at its heightened point once, and it's already happening now, actually. When you talk about them worshiping the image, Esau just haven't come out with the charagma fully yet implemented into society. But you already got a majority of the world that worships and serves Esau, okay, in his image. And they'd rather get down with what Esau says more than getting down and obeying the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, who is blessed forever. Amen. Okay. So that's why when Esau comes out with these things, a lot of people are deceived by these things and think that these things are actually miracles and blessings. Okay, so now I'm not going to read, too much more because it just goes into a specific person who, a family, all right, that had a daughter that I think she had brain cancer, and they put her in there. Okay. Listen to this, though. It says, at first, the whole family was against the idea, but Shavatorn spent months persuading them. Okay, and that's the father. It says, can we stop the process of dying? Yes. Can you believe that we can stop it? This is what I have to show my family. You see? And that's what Esau wants. He wants you to trust in him. He wants you to trust in his science and his technology. All right. No praying. Yeah, remember, I can't even say it, but a certain social media site that I'm using right now said that it's forbidden to they forbid they forbid praying as a means of fighting the icky vicky. Okay, so they don't even want you to be. You can't even pray for deliverance in Esau society. Nah, you got to believe in us. Trust our science. Trust the science. Trust our technology. You see? And let's get this other one here. So you have that one, and then you have here Esau once again trying to play the Most High. It says scientists test drugs to regrow amputated leg. A group of scientists has managed to regrow functioning limbs in a frog, and this is what the signs and the miracles. Let's get that, because I have that pulled up in Revelation chapter 13, verse 12. I'm gonna start at 12. It says, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him. Right. And that first beast was speaking about the ancient Roman Empire. And that's what Esau has resurrected. All right. Or rebirthed the Renaissance now today. OK. And you can see that all throughout Babylon the Great, and its infrastructure, its setup, its political setup, its, buildings. OK, its system, its laws, its ideas. It says, and causes the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of man. And I was speaking about, let's get this in another translation. The NLT, it says he did astounding miracles. What? And how did he do those miracles? He wasn't laying hands on people. All right, he wasn't doing it the way through the spirit, through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right, he was doing it through what? The left hand side, because none of these things Esau does, he glorifies the Lord in. He never glorifies the Lord in the Heavenly Father Yahweh and His Son Yahushai because of the ability to do these things. He got all that from Satan. Okay, he cometh out, even him that coming who's coming is after the working of Satan. So he says he did astounding miracles, even making fire flash down to earth from the sky while everyone was watching. And that's talking about what? Those missiles, man. All right. But see, what Esau does, his miracles ultimately leads to death. Because what did Oppenheimer say, who was one of the engines, leading forces of the atomic bomb? All right. When that atomic bomb was created, he said, what? Now am I become death? Which he was quoting a Indian deity. All right. An Indian idol, which really, that's all fake. But, well, it's an idol. It's not, it's not actual real God. However, And that all ultimately all those deities and idols, they all go back to Satan. They all go back to the left hand. All right. But what did he say? Now am I become death? Because that's what Esau is. He is the harbinger of death. All right. It says, so he doeth great miracles, wonders. And one of those great miracles was being able to make fire come down from the sky, which was those missiles, those nuclear, those atomic missiles. And now they're nuclear. Verse 14, and he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. And what is going to be that chief miracle is going to be what? That charagma. Okay. But all those things that he does now leads up to that charagma, because all these miracles, false pseudo, all right, lying wonders, pseudo miracles that Esau is doing, he's doing it in the name of what? Technology, right? So the ability for him to use drugs, which once again, drugs goes back to pharmakia, right? Let's pull that up. Pharmacy or pharmakia, right? And when you go to it, it says this is from pharmakias. Pharmakias, a preparer of drugs, a poisoner, a sorcerer. Okay? From pharmakon, a drug. So all these drugs, the drug market, the pharmaceutical organizations, all those things, your WHO, your CDC, all those things, what they tote themselves in, which is what? Drugs, right? It all goes back to what? A poison, a charm, a spell, an enchantment. All right, a sorcerer. Esau is a damn sorcerer, man. So these labs that they're in, they're doing sorcery in there. Left-handed, same thing that the magicians of Egypt, they was doing sorcery. And the Chaldeans, they were into sorcery. And there is power in the left-hand side, but that's why the Lord told us that we're not supposed to suffer a witch to live, because all that is wicked, is left-handed. But because Esau is a deceiver, he's able to make those left-handed sorcery, witching, enchantments and spells. He's able to deceive people to think that this is actually beneficial. But what does it lead to? It leads to destruction. It leads to death. So it says a group of scientists has been able to kickstart regenerative processes in African claw frogs with a wearable bioreactor infused with a mixture of drugs. A new study published by the Science Advances journal on Wednesday shows. The study was performed by scientists from Tufts University and Harvard University. And where is that at? All right, that's in America. All right. Tufts is in Massachusetts, and I believe Harvard is in Massachusetts as well, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but if I'm not mistaken. All right, so these are institutions that, who set these institutions up? Esau, okay? Esau in his beast system. He gives these individuals the green light, the go ahead, the finances, the ability to do all these these sorceries, man. So he does it on what? The creation that the Most High has created. Because he in his mind says that he is. Let's get that. Isaiah 47. Isaiah 47, verse 10, it says, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom on the left hand. All right, because the Most High did give Esau wisdom. And the scripture says what? He searches out all things. Okay. Thou art wiser than Daniel, and thy knowledge, it has perverted thee. See, Esau has the from the blessing that Isaac gave him. Esau had the fruit, the fatness of the earth. If he was right, if he was upright, he would have used his power, his knowledge, his wisdom to do good. But as you see, under the rulership of Esau, things are decaying, things are destructive. Okay, the earth is mourning, the people are languish. Why? Because Esau doesn't follow the law, statutes, and the commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So the wisdom and knowledge that he has gotten from the left-hand side, it perverted him. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. And that's why Esau is a direct enemy to the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And that's why the Lord is going to destroy this devil, man. He's going to completely destroy him. And he's going to be made an example of what not to do. It says, therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, and thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, excuse me, which thou shalt not know. Stand now with, and that's talking about what? The destruction that's going to come, man. Okay? Because it's going to get so bad that the elites, they're going to try to run into their bunkers if they're not already in them. It says, stand now with thine enchantment and with the multitude of thy sorceries. We just read what pharmacy goes back to, pharmakia, sorceries, wherein thou hast labeled. Let me see something. Let's go into the Hebrew of what it says for sorceries. It says sorceries, witchcraft, magic. All right. And people don't think that what Esau and he's doing with his technology and his science, they don't, because he changed the name. He doesn't call it sorcery or witchcraft or magic. He changed the name and calls it science and technology. So people are what? They are mesmerized by it. Okay. They think that, oh, these things are good. But ultimately, it just goes back to the ancient sorcery and enchantments that these ancient empires were into. But Esau has basically perfected it. All right. But with his ability to deceive, he made it look as though it was something good. So it says, stand now with thine enchantment and with thy multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth, if so be that thou shalt be able to profit, if so be that thou mayest prevail. And you're not going to prevail. All right. You're not going to prevail, man. Let's get this last scripture. Isaiah 31 verse 3. It says, now the Egyptians are men and not God. And that goes into your scientists. That goes into your political leaders. That goes all the way up into these elites that give the say so and give the go ahead for his angels to be able to practice all these things. They're not God. Although they portray themselves to be the Most High, although they use their sorcery to make people be deceived to think that they're the Most High, but they're not. And it's going to be shown. It's going to be shown when the Yahweh Shai returns. And that's why they're going to cry and scream and beg and say, what? Hide us from the face of him that sitteth upon the throne and his Lamb. Because the true God, with the true power, is going to show himself. All right. And you are going to be seen to be nothing but flesh, man. The basis of man. So it says the Egyptians are men and not God, and their horses are flesh. All right. So Esau, his power, which is in his technology, which is in his science, is flesh. It's not spirit. It says, and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, remember, the wicked shall be consumed with the spirit of his mouth, which we're doing right now. But when the Lord stretch out his hand, which is what? And shall be consumed with the brightness of his coming, his son, Yahweh Shai, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that hoping shall fall down, and they shall all fail together. Okay? And you're going to be seen as nothing, man. As the scripture says, how is Lucifer fallen from heaven? How is he that did us weaken the nations become weak as we? And worms are going to cover you. You're going to be brought low. And then ultimately you're going to be taken out of the world, man. As the scripture we read earlier, but hey, like I said before, a lot of, Esau is doing these things, and a lot of people are being deceived by these things. And ultimately that's the lot that they got to play. But for the hopeful elect, that's why the Lord set up the prophets to warn our people, warn the elect of these things, to not be deceived and not to worship this beast, man. Worship his image and receive his charagma, because he's going to deceive many to think that these things are beneficial. But we know who he is, and we know what his works are and what the end of his works are. All right, so I got one last scripture. I'm going to close it out with this. It says Psalm 68, verse 20 says, he is, he that is our power is the God of salvation. All right, so we're not looking at Esau to restore health or restore life. Oh, Yahweh Shai, the son, is going to come and resurrect the ones who are dead. All right, and as Paul said, and we that are alive and remain shall be caught up. Okay, Esau don't got no ability to resurrect any damn body, man. Okay, it says, and unto the power the Lord Yahweh belongeth the issues from death. And when you go into the word issues, it means the ability to escape out of. Okay, so his old cryonics, all right, his drugs trying to regrow limbs, all that is going to be to your destruction, man. You doing all that is ultimately going to lead to the Lord casting his fury upon you and anybody that is deceived by it. All right, so with that, Lord willing, this was edifying unto the elect. Even all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash. Next time, shalom.